Hey everybody. So I want to talk about the Carolina Hurricanes for a little bit because they currently are in first place in the Metropolitan Division. They've had a really good start to the season. They're a team that really didn't have much for expectations going into this year. Most people had them not being a playoff team, but they're a team that's starting to get talked about a little bit because of how good their start has been, and we really don't know yet how good this team is. Carolina has started the year 5-3-1. They're good enough for first place in the Metro so far. They have played more games than just about everyone else, but um, still a pretty good start to the year. And they really came out on fire. Then they had a bit of a losing streak, but they won again. They won again last night over Detroit 3-1 to get their fifth win, and they're playing good hockey right now. They look pretty good as a team. Michael Furland is having a fantastic year so far. Sebastian Aho has been great. They're getting contributions from all over the place. Their defense has been playing very well. So is Carolina? How good are they? Are they a team that could make a surprise run in the East, or at least be a playoff team and surprise people? Or are they an average team who's just off to a good start and going to come back to earth? Well, I think the next couple of weeks are incredibly important for the Hurricanes. We're going to find out what kind of team this is over the next 7 games because they have a very important and difficult stretch coming up. So Carolina right now, they're at 5-3-1, first place. They have 3 home games. Their next 3 games are all at home, and then they go on a 4-game road trip out west. And these next 7 games, I think, are going to show us for real what kind of team this is. Is this a team that is actually a good team and going to be a team to look out for in the East, or are they an average team who's probably not going to make the playoffs and be around 500? These next 7 games, I think, are going to determine that. I won't say it's going to make or break their entire season, but I think this next stretch here is vitally important for Carolina. So starting on Thursday, they play San Jose at home. Tough game against a very good team in the Sharks. Then they play the Islanders, and next Tuesday play Boston. All those games are at home. Then they go on the road and they head out west where they play Arizona and Vegas back to back, and then they play St. Louis and Chicago to finish out the road trip before coming back home. This is not an easy stretch. There's playing a lot of talented teams in this stretch, and they have to go out west, which is never easy to go on a 2-week road trip or a week and a half long road trip like this. So when you look at it, San Jose, that's a very tough game. San Jose is a very talented team. They're not off to the best start, but there's a lot of talent in that lineup. They're certainly expected to be one of the best teams in the West. Luckily, that's at home, but that's still a difficult game for Carolina. The Islanders aren't a great team, but it's a divisional game, and there are no easy games in the NHL. Even though the Islanders, aren't expected to do much this year, they're not just going to roll over and give up and give the win away. They're still fighting for wins as well. So that's a tough divisional game against an opponent that Carolina should beat and is better than. And then they have Boston. Boston's one of the best teams in the East. That's another very difficult game for the Hurricanes. Then they go on the road and they start off in Arizona. Arizona, obviously not a great team, but that's kind of a trap game. You've just been at home for a pretty good stretch. Your first game in a while on the road. You have to go pretty much almost entirely across the country from Carolina to Arizona. That's a tough game, and that's certainly a game that the Hurricanes should win, and Arizona is a team that they should beat. But it's not going to be easy because of the travel and just going on the road, first game of a road trip. Sometimes those games are kind of sluggish and you really don't get your legs under you, and that could be a problem. Then they play Vegas the next night. Obviously, Vegas went to the Stanley Cup final last year. They're a very good team. Another team out west that's not off to a great start, but is expected to be one of the best teams in the Western Conference. That's a very difficult game. They have St. Louis, who's one of the most improved teams, or supposed to be one of the most improved teams in the league. Very talented team, up and down their lineup. Starting to play better of late. St. Louis had a rough start to the year, but they've looked good the last couple of games. So that's a difficult game. And then Chicago is a difficult game because Chicago is playing a lot better than I think most people expected. After being a last place team last year in the Central, they're off to a really good start. So over the next 7 games, there's really, 5 of those games are against difficult opponents. There's really only 2 games that you look at and go, wow, Carolina has to win that. So this is a really tough but important stretch. We are going to find out, is Carolina a team that can play with the big boys like San Jose and Boston and Vegas and St. Louis, or are they much closer to what we thought they were and just happen to have a pretty good start, but overall they're still a 500 hockey club? These next 7 games are going to tell us a lot. If you look at this schedule, if they come out of this stretch right here with 10 or more points, then I think Carolina is a team that I will start believing in. If they get 10 out of a possible 14 points against these teams, I absolutely will start saying that Carolina is a team to look out for and could certainly be a playoff team in the East and a surprise playoff team in the East. But if they come out of this stretch with only 2 or 3 wins and they really don't look all that great, then that would put them record-wise back right around 500, depending on how many wins or how many losses are in regulation and overtime. They're going to be, if they only win 2 or 3 of these games, they're going to be right back around 500. A very average-looking team, which is about what we thought they would be at the beginning of the season. So if you're a Hurricanes fan, pay close attention to these next few games here. These next couple weeks are going to be absolutely huge for the team. I think we're going to learn a lot about the Hurricanes, just how good they are or how good they aren't. And this, even though it's still early in the season, this is a big time early season stretch of games that are really going to clue us in as to what kind of team the Hurricanes are. Are they for real, or are they a pretender who's just having a good start to the year? So that's what I think about the Hurricanes. I think they're a team to keep an eye on, at least for the next couple of weeks, and just see what they do against these teams. And if they come out of this looking good, then they're certainly a team to pay attention to. So let me know what you think about Carolina down in the comment section below. Are they for real, or are they a pretender? Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. Check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to support on Patreon, that link is also down in the description below. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.